Hello everybody, welcome back to the Albert Smiling Faces podcast. And, oh shit, we've had a competition to see who the best comment gets on the board.
That was very subtle.
But we forgot, sorry. We completely forgot. Maybe soon, right? But yeah, thanks for joining me once again.
Writing it up halfway through.
So first of all, special thanks to GEORDIE Gifts, who sponsor the podcast, making all this happen this season, as well as Guillermo Clothing.
As sponsored by
Atsu, is he there? Or there? Who's there?
Atsu, that's M-Dubs.
Alright, so Atsu right there. Endorsements. You get 20% discount with the AWSF pod at the checkout though. So, Steve Bruce, where do I start?
Thanks for coming, good night.
So it's been a while since the three have been sat around the table. Obviously, since me and you done one last week. The week before it was me, you and the lads from More Flags. I think maybe the last one which all three were done, we were talking about getting Jose Mourinho as manager.
Probably was.
And we've ended up, since then, we've gone through the list.
There's still time yet, isn't there?
So we've gone through the list, just like Lee Charnley. We've had Mourinho, Wenger, Rafa coming back at one point. We had that.
That was Decker's fault. You got me all excited.
We've had
We've
had a few, but then, just like Newcastle United, we're around about 11th on the list.
Allegedly.
Bollocks.
Not according to hairy hands.
So Steve Bruce is in, right?
It sounds so ridiculous when you say it out loud, doesn't it?
Yeah. Right. What I'm going to say.
Steve Bruce, Newcastle United.
From the off.
Head coach.
So like McLaren. What I'm going to say from the off, right? A lot of people are going, Rafa, you can't replace him, blah, blah, blah. Right, okay, you can't to a certain extent. Okay. But then you've got to remember, Rafa was the anomaly with Mike Ashley. We've never had a manager like Rafa under Mike Ashley. They've all been English. They've all been managers who haven't really achieved much in the career, as in trophy-wise.
McLaren was Dutch, wasn't he?
Yeah, McLaren was Dutch. But really, it's a managerial appointment which you would expect under Ashley and Charnley. Do you not agree?
100%. It's an Ashley appointment, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? It is. I mean, it's a funny one that I know, other than Rafa, that's the only foreign appointments. Rafa, it is kind of probably tells you everything, really, doesn't it? I hate the term dinosaur too much, but it seems to be. It's like that style, isn't it? It's like the sort of people that have been around a while in the game.
It's the carousel of English managers who have failed at every club and either walked out because they're doing badly or been sacked.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's what it is. And I laugh at other clubs when they do that, thinking, Jesus Christ, why would you employ someone who's failed at the last X amount of clubs? We've just gone and done the same.
Yeah, I know.
And we can only judge him for what he does for Newcastle United, but for him to even get offered the job is strange in itself, in regards to previous win percentages and how he's performed at clubs.
Let's face it, that has not even been looked at or considered, has it?
No.
All they've done is they've looked at a list and said, who can we get in here? Who's going to be cheap? Who's going to come in?
Well, he hasn't turned out to be cheap, though. Let's be honest.
Well, he's still going to be the lowest paid manager in the Premier
wage-wise,
League by a country mile.
Do you know what it is? That is a low wage, because
what's it linked on? Does anyone know what the figure is?
Well, £1 million I've heard.
Shut up.
$1 million, aye.
Over 3 years.
No, but so I've heard it's £1 million, right? Now, obviously, I'd imagine the incentivise on that would be massive.
Yeah.
But
does anyone know what he's on at Sheffield?
It'll be more than that, I would think. It has to be.
Nah,
he was shady commentating the wage cut.
So. Nah.
No, I think it might be. Well, I could be wrong.
Right, so we'll bring him on £1 million. £1
million. I was reading Keegan's book, and Keegan was on 3 million back when Keegan was in charge of us and Ashley. That was pretty 10 years ago or something? I don't know, whatever. 8 years ago or something.
1992, wasn't it?
So it's a lot of. It's a
after
big
Ashley,
difference.
when Ashley.
When he came back the second time, you mean?
Obviously, I know we've had to pay the compensation and what have you. It is what it is, but he's on a. He's the lowest paid, but that's Ashley, isn't it? That's just what it is. Having said that, does he deserve to be paid any more than that? Probably not.
Exactly.
Anyway. Like, do you know what I mean? You kind of,
So just in true Newcastle United style, we couldn't even sort a transfer for a manager. Can you remember when Porger went to Palace and it was done like that? Sort of compensation, he's gone 3.5 million. When it's the other way around, when we're trying to grab a manager,
Well, it's
we just won't pay the compensation.
It's exactly how he negotiates the same players, though, isn't it?
But to a certain degree, I can't understand because he was on a 1 year rolling contract.
That's where I have to be
1
honest.
year.
I have to be honest. How on earth you can be on a 1 year rolling contract and then they want 4 or 5 million? Like, no, you're just making figures.
Well, that's the thing.
That's
is
not
they
the
were
rule.
just the
3.5 million for Pardew. He had a 58-year contract. That's why it was 3.5 million, which is a hell of a lot for Pardew.
Has his contract even run out yet?
It does now.
Just-
I think
last
Moyes
year,
has still
wasn't
got one left on his Man United. Has he got one? But I like, you know, do you know what I mean? Like, I think the club have thought, right, is what Mark said, on the list he's cheap, he's easy to get, blah 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 blah, he'll probably want to come. Then they've talked to him first, which that's probably wrong. But anyway, they've talked to him first. Then when they've approached the
Well,
club,
allegedly it was Bruce's agent that approached the club, wasn't it, to say he might be interested in coming, kind of thing.
well, maybe he was, maybe he did. Wouldn't surprise us. Do you know what I mean? I mean, what I would say
if
though,
I was him, I'd be doing the same.
Well, it's no surprise when you look at his history of leaving clubs to I'm saying leaving club, jump ship essentially, isn't it?
yeah, he does. Like, I mean, I was quite sad last night. To be fair, I was like, I text Chris saying I was looking on YouTube, like just looking for some sort of like, I don't know, just footage on him in general, just to see what he's like. Do you know what I
Like
mean?
fan opinion from clubs that he's been at
I
and stuff like that.
kind of that, and like, and I watched, I don't know why, but I watched the entire 15-minute press conference of when he took over Sheffield Wednesday, and like he had the owner next to him, that, and he seemed quite believable and quite honest, and you know, I was saying that he was very grateful to Sheffield Wednesday for giving him the opportunity to get back to football, give him the time off for his parents and that, and what have you. And then to just jump ship like that, it isn't great, is it?
Stab in the back from him,
it's
really.
not good,
Stab
like,
in the back. And
the fan,
you
some
can
of the fan
see.
stuff I was watching, like us, if you like, I was really not happy.
They're not happy. They're not happy.
Which you can understand when you see, because he, you know, to be fair to him, he's had a good record in the time that he's been there at Sheffield Wednesday.
At Sheffield Wednesday, he has, yeah.
He's turned the club around and stuff, and
They really liked him.
He came in to put the fire out, didn't he?
yeah,
'Cause they're doing badly.
he's done a very good job for them, which is why they didn't want to lose him. The fans have got an affinity with him because of what he went through when he was there. But let's face it, he's absolutely shit on them, like, hasn't he?
100%. You can't even sugarcoat that.
He's
He's
going to
absolutely
be,
left them in the
he
shit.
will be absolutely hated now.
You know who's going to get that job though?
Chris Hughton.
Chris Hughton.
Yeah.
Well, apparently he's
down.
turned it down.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
You know, as I think Sheffield Wednesday is an alright club as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think they're alright. I mean, mind you, it's funny, isn't it? Because I don't know much about other clubs and that, but on this interview I'm on about, this press conference, the owner got peppered by the media, asking, saying, right, so are you going to sell the club or not? Are you going to sell it? And he was like, what? And they asked him again, and then he just went on this 5-minute rampage of just he went berserk. Honestly, it was brilliant to watch. Like, but it's just funny, isn't it, that we're not the only club that has shit going on. Do you know what I mean? Apparently the fans wanted him to sell it because he wasn't putting money in, and
Everyone has shit on different levels. Like,
of course,
there's a lot of people giving Arsenal fans shit at the minute, but if you look at where they fell from as well over the last few years, they're not getting Champions League football, and of course they've kind of their opinion. They can kick off if they want. Of course, it's not as bad as where we are at the moment, but then there's clubs worse off than us. It's just I can't criticise another fan of another club and say, why are you complaining?
Of course,
it's their club; they can do what they want.
Of course not. Absolutely. Anyway, you look at I don't know, Ipswich or someone like that, who probably to think and believe they should be higher than that. I think they're in League One or something.
Look at Bolton.
Bolton, for me, you look at Bolton, Blackpool, and Coventry. Are the three that stick out for me.
It could be worse somehow. It actually could be worse.
But right now, it doesn't feel much worse than what we're going through at the minute, does it?
I agree. I agree.
When it's so close to home, it hurts you that little bit more, doesn't it?
It really does.
There's no worse in the Premier League or Championship.
What than us at the moment?
Well, Bolton League One last year. They were League One.
Yeah. In respect of ownership and the way the clubs run and stuff like that.
What would be there in that bracket? If there is a smaller bracket, would be in that. Would be right up there. But right, so Bruce, obviously he was linked. When he was linked, did you believe it? So when the odds started dropping for him to become manager?
Well, I have to be honest. No, I didn't think at all. I really didn't know.
So you just. You can't believe that we would stoop that low, like somehow.
I don't. We would though.
I know, but that's the.
Fuck me, joking, yeah, man.
Twice.
I'm saying you don't. You perhaps you hope that we don't stoop that low. But
sorry, I'm going to go back to what you were going to say. But I just wanted to get his opinion on. Do you think that this appointment's worse than McLaren or worse than Pardew? Like, where does it rank in terms of them appointments?
It's worse than McLaren solely because Rafa's just left. and you're dropping that far.
Okay.
Under McLaren, you weren't. There wasn't much of a difference between. Was it Pardew then McLaren came in? Was that the way it went?
Yes.
Where you had Carver.
Carver took over, and then it was.
Yeah.
But then to go from Rafa to Steve Bruce, then obviously.
But like we've said, whoever comes in after Rafa is always going to be a step down, unless you're getting somebody.
It is
right up there.
No, but it is. But if you go for a younger manager, someone with, I would say, with a bit of
freshness,
new ideas, some hunger. Steve Bruce has came
100%.
out in the past and said that he doesn't like tactics. That fuck's that all about? Like, I'm not sure how true that is. But
well, I read that. I've heard people say that, and so I went digging and I found the full thing. It wasn't quite as down the line as that. Like, it wasn't. He wasn't like Harry Redknapp, like you can't read and write on a board. And that it wasn't that bad, but it was.
So I would have been happy with someone like Arteta. Apparently, he got offered the job and he wanted the job. Apparently, he wanted it, but he couldn't get the staff together to take the job.
Well, there's been a couple of different tales with that as well, though, isn't it? It's like that he was told by Rafa not to take it.
Well, she was told Bruce not to
She
take
was
it.
told Bruce not to take it.
He said no. That's what he said.
Steven Gerrard was linked. Obviously, he's not going to take because Rafa would have told him straight away. But I know these managers. Arteta isn't even a manager, and Gerrard's only just been manager of Rangers.
Vieira was another one.
But
Vieira's another one.
Face it, we haven't got a manager. We've gone back to that head
that's
coach
the way
role.
football's going. I understand that now. I've accepted it. That's the way football's going.
I agree.
That's the model across Europe
It's
and
not
across
what I
most
would
of the
want
leagues.
if I was in charge, but Jurgen Klopp's under a very, very similar situation. It is what it is. You just got
The difference is you've got people in there doing that director of football, if you want to call that, or the chief executive role, that
chief scout.
Have an understanding of football and
It's not
players
that,
and
no,
how they fit in the teams and stuff like that.
I disagree because we're being this under Graham Carr. And Graham Carr scouted some fantastic players. It wasn't his fault that like some Mike Ashley and Charney went to 4th and 5th on the list. That's the problem that we had.
But to be fair to Graham Carr as well, I still think we've got some decent players in.
We did.
And they were all his
and
players.
there's players like Kabila and Tovan who we didn't give a chance to.
Yeah.
Yang Ambiwa, we didn't give him 2 seconds.
And not every player's going to work. Like I'm sick of fucking hearing about this new lad that apparently Rafa didn't want him and all this shite.
Joe Linton.
Absolute shite.
We'll get on to him later.
But what I'm going to say is, like Lazar, for example, even Rafa brought in players that were absolutely awful. Like Lazar has to be one of the. Is he even a footballer? This guy? Like, he's one of the worst. Fucking Murphy. I know I'm going here. No, but how though? Come on.
How many minutes was that?
Like, he's fucking dross now. Do you know what I mean? Like, and Rafa apparently chose him because he had the final.
Did you like
say.
that tweet I put on the other day though?
What did you say? Oh, it was fantastic. It was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it really was. Yeah. I hope that's what they were looking at as well. No, it was really good that night. But sorry, yes, I get what you're saying. There was rumours Graham Carr was going to come back.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I mean,
Yeah.
that's gone deaf though, right? It's just not going to happen, is it?
I don't know.
This one now.
You'd never know with this club.
I know. But it looks to me that this situation is he's in as a head coach and you're going to have a board almost again. I don't know if Bruce is on it, like, but there's almost a board of people voting for players.
Was it where McLaren was on the board that time as well? There's like 4 people on the board. It was like McLaren, Monk, Ashley and Charney.
Now,
the 4 people.
Now, I'm not saying I agree with this before someone absolutely gans off it. I had enough today. But if you want to sign players, right, and you want actually to spend money, I believe that the only way of that happening is by that structure, right, and having people in place that he trusts to spend the money, and then we might buy players. We might buy players because if it's not structured in that way, then he won't spend money. We've seen that. Do you know what I mean? He won't trust the manager's opinion.
I don't know because he's always had Sean Lee involved in that negotiation and stuff like that, and that's where it always tends to go wrong.
Johnny's not picking a player though. Johnny's not going to actually go, well, I've made this list on FIFA last night,
but that's where it then comes to, if they get, you know, that classic line of getting it over the line is the buck stops with him.
God, Pod used to say that all the time.
So I was speaking to someone the other night, I'll not say the name, okay, but someone who is highly thought of amongst Newcastle United fans, and we got no, definitely not. We got speaking about the likes of Lee Charnley. And I was saying to a certain degree, I feel he's under pressure to the point where he can't win the battle. He's always going to fight a losing battle. Then this person who I was speaking to turned around and went, "No, you've got to understand. He's there to do a job, and he fumbles about. He stood at his word, and he does not deliver what he's expected to deliver. He'll delay any possible deal by not replying to things and not progressing like negotiations and talks."
Right.
Said he's just crap at his job. There should be an urgency and he's got no urgency about him. which is worrying.
Doesn't surprise you, though,
It's
does it?
worrying that though.
That's why.
So then who we're blaming? Is it so is Ashley giving him them responsibilities to go and do something, but then he's not? So then it's not Ashley's fault.
It seems like the money's there. Obviously, not as much money as we'd hope, but the money's there to do deals. And the reason why they're not getting delivered in time, so the likes of Joe Linton, for prime example,
6 months probably.
He was linked from January, wasn't he? Linked from January. Why is it taking so long? And apparently it's to do with like communication and sorting deals out and just getting players to sign the contract. It takes twice as long for us, and apparently that blame lies on Lee Charnley's door.
Fair enough then. Fair enough.
Doesn't surprise us in the slightest.
Steve Bruce. Let's get back to Steve Bruce.
Yeah,
So he's been getting a lot of shit from fans, right?
Yeah.
Is he taking the brunt of anger because of Ashley and Rafa going?
Well, he is, and you know, like we've said, anybody that comes in after Rafa is on a hiding to nothing. They've got massive shoes to fill. However, if somebody comes in where we think, well, you know, this is a bit of a different appointment, this could lead to some exciting football or something like that, then they're going to get a bit more benefit of the doubt, aren't they? They think, well, we'll give them a chance, we'll give them an opportunity. Whereas with Bruce, you kind of already know what you're going to get. It's not going to be sexy, attacking, free-flowing football, is it?
Well,
and I'm not saying that was the case under
for a while. Under
Rafa.
In fairness, he's right there actually. Yeah.
But Rafa was at least organised and planned and stuff like that. And
let's be very honest. Rafa got away with it because of who he was, and I have no problem with that. I mean, it is what it is, and the way Rafa. It's not just Rafa as well. His backroom team that he had, that guy, man, with a clipboard, he was up every single set piece, man.
Ego.
Yeah, he was checking everything to every single minor detail, and you're going to lose that now, obviously. But I agree in a certain extent that we're not going to be playing whatever football it is that we'd love to be playing. We weren't under Rafa anyway, so you know it is what it is. But I do think some of the abuse has been a bit harsh. I think, to be honest with you, like I'm a little bit maybe in the camp of, I don't want to say it too much because I'll get grief, but I'm not happy with the appointment. Far from it. Like it is a joke that we've came from Rafa to here. It's as low as you could possibly imagine going. Really, isn't it? It's absolutely awful. But what I would say is, it's not his fault. That's not Bruce's fault. It's not. And I was getting to the stage. I think I said it last week. Was I just wanted somebody in now.
Yeah.
Just to try.
3 weeks before the start of the season.
Yeah, because the longer it was going on, like we need to get somebody in to try our best to form something. Because I want. I mean, some fans are saying they're not arses. They'll go down. They'll get hammered every week. They're not bothered. Well, I'm not one of them. I want to try and at least still stay in the division. Do you know what I mean? So we need to move forward.
People complain and saying that they hope he loses every single game. You know that he's here and stuff like that. As much as you can despise him, you can despise Ashley and stuff like that. I can never willfully want Newcastle to lose games unless there's something, you know, hinging on it. Like if the team that we're playing needs to win to relegate Sunderland or something like that, I would accept that. But I never want to see us lose.
No, I agree, and honestly, I'm being very, very honest here. As I hope Bruce proves all of them people wrong. I hope he has a successful season as much as it can be. When I say success, see, someone kicked off the day because someone had said success would be staying up, which that to me is success.
That's
And I've sat here with Rafa and Chard saying we'll be 17th, 16th. I've sat here and said it, so I'm not going to change the goalposts. But it appears to me that everyone else is changing the goalposts now and going, oh, we're not accepting just mediocre performances or mediocre finishing positions. We've washed our hands with that. But that's what we've always been. We've been at that for 10 years.
So a lot of people are thinking, obviously, if we continue to lose games and we start plummeting down the division and dropping the Championship and dropping in League One and follow what Sunderland do, a lot of people are under the impression that Ashley will sell.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
That's not the case. I don't think that is the case. But you could flip it over and think the better the club do, the more chance Ashley might sell, because there might be more interest because of a successful team. Yeah. There's two sides of the coin. Okay, obviously people are so pissed off, and one of them user in the same. We're pissed off with the decision to bring Bruce in because it's fucking ridiculous. No one wanted that to happen, if we're being honest. Like, you could have got every single person that's ever wore a black and white shirt in their life and went, right, which manager do you want? I guarantee not one person would have said Steve Bruce.
No, not one.
Right? Not a single one.
Richard Keys would.
Well, not a single Newcastle United fan would have said, I want Steve Bruce.
No, I don't think anyone in football. Period.
Richard Keys did.
No, Big Sam would have said.
He can piss off.
No, honestly,
He came out. He was.
nobody
Did
would
you not
have said
see? He's
Not before. Not beforehand.
He was over the moon.
Well, of course he
Absolutely
will be.
Because it'll
cocked.
be his mate, that's why.
It's ridiculous,
It'll be
man.
his mate.
But no, you're right. What you say. There's nobody would have wanted that at all. But now we're in a situation where that's what we've got,
Yeah.
isn't it? And it's like,
Well, I said to him,
That's where I am. It's like
It's what
it's
we've got.
done. It is what it is. You've just got to suck it up and get on with it now.
on the way down, I said to him, I was like, there's lots of fans that want us to lose the game, drop down, blah, 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 blah. And I went, who's going to lose here? I was like, the fans. It's always going to be the fans that'll lose. It doesn't matter what happens. Ashley doesn't care. It's us that'll have the anger and the pain and the absolute deflated feeling of being a Newcastle United fan. Ashley doesn't give two flying fucks.
There's now worse than getting relegated.
I
It's
agree.
horrendous.
I totally agree with you.
Like,
I mean, in
have
fa- in
these people
fairness-
forgot what it felt like to go down?
In fairness,
twice.
the first time I got relegated was very, very hard.
That was
But the second time, I'll be honest, I wasn't that arse because we had one man. We had Rafa.
Yeah.
That was kind of it, really.
It did ease it.
It did ease it a lot,
Still,
didn't it, really. And once you got over the issue of playing Plymouth away and shit like that, you know, the fixtures
well,
were
then
terrible.
we went on to
spent
have a
all
good
last
season,
season laughing at Sunderland for being in League One.
Exactly.
And now there's fans saying,
Exactly.
we'll just get relegated.
Yeah.
I was like, why? We've literally been laughing at them. Why would we want to
it's
be
the
in that
same,
position?
It's the same people that laugh at Sunderland, always come back, oh, you're in the third division. Oh, look at all those empty pink seats. Oh, look, they can't fill the stadium. Now they're telling us to stay away, keep the stadium empty,
Well, they're
have an
literally
empty
gonna be the
stadium.
same.
The difference
Hope we
is,
get relegated.
I've seen this a couple of times.
off.
The difference is, I think Sunderland fans, it wasn't out of protest
No,
against
no,
the
no,
owner.
they
They
just
couldn't be
gave up and
forced to
didn't want to go.
I didn't see much about protest
No, not at all.
in regards to Sunderland.
It is a surprise, but sorry to move forward a bit. Is you're on about them buying the club? I don't listen to everything they've said, but Sunderland's takeovers fell through. Bottom line is because they didn't get promoted. So to flip the coin, that's the situation we would be
And
in.
they've now got an owner who can't afford to run the
Can't afford
club.
to run it.
Can't
Yeah.
fucking hell. Amazing.
Can't afford to run the club.
Fucking amazing.
So,
And that's
so
'cause
they may be at
he-
the point where this
he
season might
gambled
drop
on it.
again, then drop again, to the point where they're like in a position where like a Gateshead or they literally played South Shields for the pre-season tournament, man.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Well, you just go back a few years, you look at Birmingham, you look at Leeds, even Man City. They all plummeted, and it took them years and years and years
I think
to drag
Bolton's
themselves out.
a really good
Birmingham
job.
still haven't dragged themselves out. Leeds have.
Bolton are fucked.
Do you know what it is? I actually think that you may well get taken over, actually. I think you might. But the person who's buying you literally owns a corner shop.
Could be
like,
anyone.
literally just
Could
has
be
nothing. Like what the Sunderland guys are saying. You're going to get someone that's literally, I mean, Ashley's a twat, but you might get a right cowboy in who literally can't afford anything.
Who can afford a season?
But to be
What
fair,
they've
we-
done.
Yeah, and then
We all pointed this out at the time to them to say, you know, he's coming in here. How can he afford to do it? He gambled on
He
having a season.
He
in
publicly
League
came
One,
out and said that I can't
coming
afford
up
to run this
and
club
do
for a
it.
season.
Yeah.
We need to get promoted. But forget about that.
sorry, I
But
forget.
we don't want to be in that position. That's the worrying thing.
100%.
And,
And that's why I don't want to see us get relegated. I don't want to see us losing games because I don't want to be in that situation.
personally, right, and we'll probably get shit for this. Personally, I want Bruce to come in here and win every fucking game.
Yep.
Yes.
Of course you do.
Yes.
If
He's here now. You might as well get behind him. As I said, suck it up and just get on with it.
It won't happen, right? He's not going to win every game. Let's be honest. If you look in the past, he's not going to win every game. Okay.
Well, you say that.
Let's be honest.
You say that, but
We're not sucking anything up at the minute.
You look at his.
It's
You look
it took him 500 games to win 38. I think it was something ridiculous. It took him 15 years of football to win the amount of one season game. So yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
but you look at his initial impact when he goes into a club. He does have a good first half, 3/4 of a season.
Like Alan Bordeaux.
So
The only thing I honestly would say, right, is he seems from the outside seems the type of person who kind of like puts his arm around the player and will like get on with the players. That
well,
makes sense.
a
Like,
lot of players do speak highly of him
yeah.
from a man management point of view.
Maybe
and stuff like
just
that.
for now. I'm not saying longevity, but just need some kind of bump just to
like-
give us something.
But does that not worry you? I think we might just be a bit of a soft touch to the players.
Well, no, I don't think he's a soft touch. Like I don't think so. But
Do you know what worries me?
You can't have the career he had as a player playing for Man United, captain, having the career he did with Alex Ferguson as your manager, and
Do you know what
and
worries me a
not
little
have
bit? Is that
that mentality.
he's got a lot of friends in the media
True.
And do you know how Harry Redknapp used to get off the hook left, right, and centre? He ruined most of the clubs he went to with that fucker, and he never got anything brought up. He got his job the next week, and the next time he got sacked. I worry about Bruce. He's got a lot of links in the media. I bet you a lot of the press could pick up the phone and give him a phone call, and he'd be there doing an
Well,
interview.
he's good on the phone apparently.
So I think
What do
if
you
things
think?
start turning shit, then the press won't publicise that. They'll happily just go along with it, saying give him time, blah blah. Same as what we do with McLaren. Let's be honest, the fans give McLaren a lot of time. When we said that this was the fan base that turned against the managers really quickly, no, we turn against the managers when we're in the shit and things aren't improving and it looks like we're going to get relegated. That's when we turn.
Well, let's face when McLaren started, we were playing all right. We're
So
playing.
the first game
we're
was against
playing
Spurs.
okay.
Liverpool.
Was it the first game against?
Liverpool.
Was it?
With Allen scored a class goal. Obertan fucking down the wing. Unreal.
Was it?
Yeah. 2-2 I think it was, or something, or 1-1 or something.
I remember the first game was a really good game, and I was full of confidence in that first game. And I was like, Jesus Christ,
I think
might
it was
do
about
well
the
here.
first dozen games or something like that. We were playing well, but we
Shit,
just weren't
losing every
getting any
game.
results.
That was the problem.
Give us 6 games,
Totally.
give us 12 games, give us half a season.
did-
We're getting relegated, yeah, mate.
Yeah, that was the issue. But I agree with Mark. Honestly, I watched every game as always, and we played good football. We played well.
We just didn't.
We just couldn't win.
Just didn't get that look,
That was
and
the
that's
problem,
and maybe that's something, you know, that we might get with Bruce. He might get with some results.
I just think
don't know.
you're going to look at it with Rafa. God, we lost 7 or something of the first 7.
Well,
It was ridiculous.
first
wasn't it?
the
This
start
season.
of the 2 seasons, didn't we? We got
awful.
off to slow starts.
Really, I remember pre-season last year was absolutely dog shit. Remember we went
Oh,
to St James's to
always
watch the.
Always is.
We played Hoffenheim or something. Well, not Hoffenheim, but we played some fucker at home, didn't we? Last game.
Was it not the only home game of the pre-season?
The
Yeah,
last
well,
game.
we only ever play one, don't we?
We
The
were
week before the start of
absolutely
the season or
dreadful. We
something.
got beat 1-0 or 2-0.
I was shite.
Shocking.
Shite away in the wake.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. We were awful that game, and I worried for that season ahead.
To be fair, we were absolutely hammered as well.
No, we were shite.
Did you not take the car? Was I not
I had
just
the car,
pissed?
yeah, I had the car, and we were
It was just
absolutely, we were dreadful, and I thought, fuck, we're in big trouble here, like, and then you sort of fast forward a year on, and that's why I think under Rafa we were losing 7-8 games on the bounce. It's going to happen.
But we
again,
didn't get going until like
gonna happen
November
again.
or something, didn't we?
It's going to happen again. You're going to lose. The problem is this time there was the fans aren't going to stay with it as long. Of course they're not. You know,
And
they're just not going to give him the time.
That's a worry for me because we've talked about it a few times here when we've talked about the atmosphere at the
Hopefully
games
them aren't
and-
going to be there. If they're as honest as what they're saying they are, there's loads of them on social media saying I'm not going back. You got them in the bios now saying.
Well, you might find that, but it's always been a case of when there's been the real fever behind Ashley out and a manager and results not going well, where it's real poison in the ground, which we've talked about time and time again, and the times where it's been like that has resulted in us really, really struggling. And it's finishing 4th bottom or getting relegated, scraping by. So, which it's not going to help the situation.
I know, but then you flip around to what would just roll over and take it. Like,
yeah, it's a difficult one. It's very difficult. I mean, I've seen a protest today. There was 11 people there.
that's a worrying
What's going
thing.
on?
That's a worrying thing. There's, social media doesn't transfer into real life, and we've seen it time and time again with protests. And there's one of the lads at work. He said earlier, he's right. So boycott Arsenal. What attendance would you say is a success for a boycott? Now, anything under 30,000, I would say is a success. So you're almost halving the stadium, really. But do I think it'll be that? No.
Well, there is definitely
There's a lot of fans.
There's 12,000 season tickets on general sale.
There's not.
There is.
There's not.
So me and Pete counted them at work yesterday.
Right, okay. But
We did, I swear to God.
From
we
last-
went through the ground.
Jesus Christ, he's getting
each
paid for this as
section,
well.
What, and counted the
looking at
dots?
how many dots were available.
Aye,
and counted them.
but they're saying from last season, they're saying it's dropped by 12,000. It hasn't. From last season, apparently it's dropped by 7 because we didn't sell all the season tickets last season.
Yeah, well, you never do, but that's how many's available currently. But I know there'll be more than that because I know that there's obviously still a load that are on hold kind of thing. Which
I walked past the box office the other day and it was rammed. Absolutely rammed.
Well, it was when that.
Norwich away tickets.
I went past because I was on my dinner and I just went for a walk and I walked to get and I was seeing the work that had been done, and it was round then as well. Now obviously you're going to have people that have not renewed, I understand that, but then there will be someone waiting because that's their opportunity to get a seat. So I know 5 people at work who's done that. They never had a season ticket in their life. This is their opportunity to get one. They're up there getting, I date now, I'll do it. So it's, yes, you haven't sold 12,000, but
what a time to start going to the games.
Could you pick a worse time?
But people join when Joe Kinnear was in charge. Like, I'm sorry, people have chose to come.
It's a revolving door.
Even
one will
worse.
go out and they'll come in.
Well, I say even worse. It's bad now, but you kind of get worse than Chef Coochie and fucking that shit. You kind of get worse in that scenario when Mark Coochie.
Chef Coochie was.
Don't you dead right defending.
Them were dark days.
He tried.
Don't you dare.
Don't
you dare. That would be like me running around the pitch, mate. Jesus Christ.
That's torturing him.
It's not.
He wasn't a world beater, but he
He wasn't a world beater. You couldn't beat his fucking street, never mind the world.
Allegedly.
I love how just allegedly gets chucked in there.
That from the man that says Jacob Murphy shit.
He's shite.
So we'll speak about the boycott the next one. I think there's a question about that. But Steve Bruce wise, obviously we're all unhappy with Bruce being appointed. We've accepted it because we knew it was coming.
Well, I think me and Mark are more on the side, and we'll probably get wrong for it. But
I couldn't give a fuck.
I didn't have all that. I would say I gave it this one.
He's here.
Couldn't give a fuck.
He's here.
No, I know he is.
Just
I'm behind. I honestly am behind him, and I hope.
Look, we're not gonna be sitting there yet singing. We're not gonna be there yet singing. Steve Bruce, the Black and White Army. But I bet one day it could happen. Now this is a long way off. This is a long way off in the future where
is he taking on Notts County or something?
Things could happen. He could, as unlikely as it seems, he could come in and do well. We're playing well. Get the fans on side.
I feel
and win we're round.
I feel slightly bad for him because
it's unlikely, but.
Imagine if he does that bad to the point where it's like Pordew.
It's going to be horrific.
And he can't even get off his seat.
But you know what it is? It's going to be like it is. He's going to be like that.
He's a fan of this club.
It could get like that game
it
1.
It is going to get like that. There's no it could. It is going to be like that.
What you mean?
Let's face it.
Just getting out the dugout.
You know what's going to happen.
He is going to get
the first time that stadium is full. You know what you're going to hear. It's Rafa Benitez chance. You know that's going to happen.
100%
cringeworthy.
It's going to happen.
They'll be singing Rafa songs. They'll be singing Ashley out.
That's fine.
I'll probably be in the middle of it.
That's fine. But the Rafa ones, come on. Do you reckon
you've got to say goodbye?
Well, you have to at some point. Christ, you have to. Jesus, I don't go to the game now and just sing Keegan songs. Christ,
it happens.
He was to me. He was my real dad. Keegan, he was like the man. Do you know what I mean? And wait, come on. I appreciate we're all down. No one's as down as I am. I wish he was here. Of course I do. I wish Rondon was.
What about Keegan?
By the way, he's went for the money he has now. But anyway, but yeah, there comes a time where you have to go. Okay, right, full stop. We've loved you. Thanks very much. We will discuss you in the pub every now and again. But we're kind of got to matches.
We'll still have him on the desk.
He's still on the desk. The scarf's still behind you, mate.
But you can't go to matches crying in your pint about him.
Can't wait to replace him with a Steve Bruce miniature figure. Well, it'll not be very fucking miniature.
What do you reckon he has to do to get that song sung like?
Just turn off.
What song?
What song? The Steve Bruce Black and White Army. He literally has to. He has to get us in the top 3 by Christmas or something, doesn't he? He's like,
it's not.
I know it's not, but that's why I'm saying in some alternate galaxy where things turn out great, it could happen.
There'd be people out there, right? Truthfully, right? There'd be people out there if we were in the FA Cup final, the League Cup final, right? If just to say we were, would be devastated. They'd want to get beat so they could have a go.
Oh well, they all do on Twitter. They all don't want to win a game. Good, because then I can get as many tickets as I like for away games and cup games and league games.
Go on, Martha. Finally, someone's gonna get pelters. That's not me.
I don't fucking care.
Do you know what? All these people that say they don't care anymore, but they really fucking care.
Oh, mate. Oh, God. Care. That is one of the.
You wouldn't be tweeting about it if you didn't care.
That's probably annoyed me more than the Bruce appointment. Is them people that I've literally seen one guy put. I've washed my hands with it. I don't care anymore. Sports Direct FC can do one. Wonderful, great. I'm not here for me again. 8 minutes later, he retweeted an article from the Chronicle about this new lad signing. Well, who's he? We didn't know who he is. Whoa. If you don't care, you've watched. Get away. God shields or something, man. Like
people are choosing to be negative about everything because of the situation that we find ourselves in.
Do you know what my favourite one is? Like, we've pissed and moan about the stadium.
Oh, I know.
Exactly.
And we're spending a bit of money doing it. It looks really nice, right? Let's be honest, it looks fantastic.
Well, he's obviously done all of the seats as well, because that was the...
But then, also what are they saying? There's only other bits where the sky goes.
I know. Oh God, I know. Well, these people mustn't go out the house. They must just...
God.
But you're right though, like you're pissing more. Like the worst one today, right? Honestly, and I do mean this. This kid, come on, right? And his first thing he said, bearing in mind I had loads of fucking comments on this tweet. He had put something about you pay for what you get for, and he had a massive go about Yosselu, right?
Yeah.
And then the next comment was about the new lad. Saying, well, who is he like? Waste of time, shite. Rafa didn't want him, blah blah blah.
It's costing 10 times more than
so
what.
I replied back, well, he's costing 36 million. So you've just said in your last tweet about Yosselu that he was shite because you get what you pay for. Like, and he still had another go about him, saying, he's absolute dross, he's shit. I said, right, first of all, you probably can't pronounce his name, right? You've never watched him play, and you can't have the argument that you're paying little money for shit, and then we're buying someone for big money is also shit.
Yeah.
You just can't do it.
Well, when we're saying Rondon was shit. Everybody said he was terrible.
Well,
he can't play for West Brom. He's never scored. Blah de blah. He's terrible. Why are we signing him? Fast forward, he's the best thing ever.
Well, he scored 24 goals in 108 games for West Brom. That's terrible. That didn't care what anyone says. And look how that turned out. So you just never know in football, do you? You never know. You just don't know, and you just gotta. As Mark says, some people don't want to get behind him, and you know what it is. I understand that, right? If you don't want to get behind him or the club, I can understand, because Ashley's a twat and they didn't like Bruce. I understand that.
But don't piss and moan about it.
But then don't piss and moan.
Yeah.
Move on and go away.
If you get behind the likes of the players and Steve Bruce and the coaches, then you're behind Ashley. It's not the case. It's
of
not
course
the
it's
case.
not.
It is. You're part of the problem.
I hate that one, you know, as well.
I'm done. There's no such thing as part of the fucking problem.
I'm part of the problem.
Yeah,
I'm proud of it.
There's no such There's no such thing as part of the problem. There's one problem, and I'm not part of Ashley's life. I swear to God.
I agree.
He's the problem. Fans are never the problem. Stop calling fans the fucking problem, because they're not.
That's the thing that winds me up the most. And we've seen it before, and we're seeing it again. Is fans turning on each other just because of the choices that we make in either going to the game or not going to the game.
I just said the building stand looked nice. I just told I said. And I got absolutely hung.
Which it does.
I got hung.
There's not anybody out there that can, objectively look at that and say,
prefer it the other way.
Yeah, there's nobody that can say that. People are choosing to pick up on everything and put a negative spin on it.
I've done a good one. I might be yesterday. I said, of course, I would never want a player to come into the club, and never want a manager, a coach to come into the club and not do well. I want everyone that gets brought into the club to have a successful career. Blah blah blah. And I've said it doesn't mean I'm happy with the appointment of Steve Bruce. Someone just replied saying, "No, you're wrong." That's my opinion.
You know what it is? If you want to see Newcastle,
you're part of the problem.
If you want to see Newcastle lose every game, if you want to hate the players, hate the manager, hate the owner, go and support Sunderland, because that's what Sunderland fans do.
True. It's true. I think on that one.
Thanks for listening.
he's just gone. He's gone.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to give Mark Pellet this week, right?
Please do.
Don't unsubscribe to the channel, please. Please don't. Right? So if what do you add?
There'll be a lot of listeners probably feel the same. In what he's saying in terms
all
of
5 of them.
No, I just think, well, I'm one of them, because I just think
thanks. You can give us a like.
I'll give him but he's right though in terms of the sheer negativity. I appreciate it's shit, but come on, like he's making improvements to the ground, and they're still having a fucking go.
Yeah.
Come on.
You're not going to forgive him for everything that's gone before, just because he's painted a wall.
Absolutely.
Just because he's put some nice stairs in.
Just before we go, right? Let's be honest. Do you know a few weeks ago when we're talking about Jose Mourinho? There's fucking people kicking off that we're going to get him.
Well, yeah, but that's just.
But I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with getting Jose. Give us Jose or Steve Bruce. It's a tough choice.
You can't win.
You can't win.
But it's like anything in life. You've got to play with the cards that you're dealt. We've been dealt a shit hand.
Again.
We've just got to get on with it, and hope that on the turn of the card something comes out.
Is the Takeover still alive?
Is it?
Right,
The only hope you've got is that it's there in the background and they're waiting to see what happens the half of this season.
You know what's going to happen in January.
Then you get to January, we're still interested in buying the club.
Yeah,
I'm done. Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Anything to say?
The takeover is never going to happen as long as I live. There you go.
Right.
Never.
See you later.
Good
Love yous.
luck, Steve.